Monday morning at Sha-Tin. We're 6 days out from the Turf World Championships here on the second Sunday in December. A very warm welcome to the HKIR Morning Show. I'm Andrew Lejeune, joined this morning by Graham Cunningham. Graham's going to be a great week. We've got lots in store. We've got Brittany Yerton joining us later in the week as well. Adam Campton, Ed Sadler are going to be our roving reporters throughout the week. We'll have some special guests as well. There's a lot to pack into the next few days.
The weather is fantastic. It's great to be here. Sensational jockeys for Wednesday at Happy Valley. Fantastic horses at the weekend. And just look at the list of characters we have. 4 Group 1 races worth $93 million. We have 22 different Group 1 winners. We have 9 dangerous raiders from Japan. We have Beauty Generation, the king of Hong Kong racing for the last 2 years. We have the Crown Prince, his stablemate, Athero. We have Hong Kong's champion stayer, Exultant, going up against a Derby winner, Anthony Van Dyke, in the Vase. It's just a wonderful, wonderful week's racing.
And we do have all of last year's champions back as well. I'll mention her once and that'll be it, because she's not here, Almond Eye, but she does change the cup and the makeup of that race. But otherwise, we've got Mr. Stunning back, we've got Beauty Generation, we've got Glorious Forever, and we've got Exultant as well.
We have, and it's great to see the champions coming back, but there is a bit of a feeling of a potential changing of the guard in the air at the moment. Beauty Generation finally has something to prove, and serious opposition. Glorious Forever has been hit and miss. Mr. Stunning has had a few training problems, so the door is ajar for younger horses to come through. Let's see who can barge through it.
Yep, so there's all that to come. The international horses are here. They've been out on the track already working this morning. That will sort of continue out throughout the week. The final gallop's going into place. Before all that, though, we've got the IJC on Wednesday night at Happy Valley, the International Jockeys Championship, and a group of jockeys like we've never seen before here in Hong Kong for one night. Absolutely
fantastic, and one man will take a huge chunk of the headlines. Franco Dettori is back riding in Hong Kong for the first time since 2011. He's won the IJC 3 times. He's on the back of just a freakish year. I want to drink at Franco Dettori's Fountain of Youth because at 48 years of age, he has ridden 19 Group 1 winners this season. He's clearly loving every minute of it. Why wouldn't you? And he's going to be the star attraction, but look at the backup. Zach Purton and Joe Moreira, Vincent Ho and Karis Teeton. Karis, more of him in a moment, has got a terrific book of rides. Yuga Kawada from Japan, Pierre-Charles Boudot, fresh from a first Arc de Triomphe win. Ryan Moore. We've got so many top quality jockeys. Oisin Murphy on the crest of a wave. Whoever wins that competition on Wednesday night will go away not just with $500,000 as the first prize, but with the knowledge that they've beaten an absolutely stellar field.
Yeah, we have last year's winner, Sylvester de Sosa, back again. The jockey allocation was made this morning for those 4 championship races. At this stage, first glance, who do you think's in pole position?
Well, the man who would have walked out of that room purring is Karis Teeton. No question about that. Across the board, he's got really good rides. High Rev and G Unit in particular, they look to have tremendous chances. But we go to race at Happy Valley once a week, Andrew, for 44 weeks of the year. How often do we go away from the valley and say, well, that all went to form and all went to script? It seldom goes that way. When you've got finely matched, finely balanced handicappers going in against each other on a track where jockeyship, draw, pace, a little bit of luck here and there, absolutely crucial. You can never take anything for granted.
Yeah, ridden by some of the world's best riders as well. One man who'll be double-handed on the weekend is Casper Founds. He'll have 2 runners in the big races in Rise High and Southern Legend. He's also got some runners on Wednesday night as well. The King of the Valley will be joining us very shortly. What do you think of his chances, again, with the likes of, so you've got Nunchuck's Lightning Steed and the Hulk going there?
Yeah, well, the Hulk's a very smart horse. The stable's in good form. 2 winners here at Sha-Tin yesterday. Big weekend coming up. And in terms of Hong Kong racing, for day 1 of our morning shows, no better person to have on because he is sort of Hong Kong racing royalty in a way. He's been here practically all his life. He knows anyone who is anyone in Hong Kong racing. And he's quite a colourful personality as well.
He certainly is. It's quite a big build-up as well, so we can probably bring him on, I think. Yeah, Casper.
Yeah,
the King of the Valley. Good to see you, Cass.
Good to see you, mate.
Didn't want to
2 fans in the house. Thank you.
Didn't want to oversell you there, but great to have you here this morning. As you can see, it's live. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew.
Good day at Sha-Tin yesterday. A couple of winners.
Yeah, mate. It was good. Yeah, very happy. Stable's been in good form.
Sky Darcy was got the day off to a flying start and enfolding with De Sosa, we're talking about his book of rides and his way he's come back to Hong Kong as well this season. And Folding was a nice winner as well. He's gone back to back and up in class too.
Absolutely. I mean, Sylvette's doing really well. It's always good to have him back in Hong Kong. I'm lucky on the Wednesday. I've drawn him for 2 of my jockey races, so it's going to be a bit of fun.
And Frankie Dettori on nunchucks, I believe.
Absolutely, a good friend of mine, Frankie. So very happy to have him on one. Drawn a good gate in gate 2. He's a young horse. Ran all right first up, but hopefully I think he's going to improve a lot from that first run.
Has IJC Night been kind to you over the years?
We've had a few winners here and there, but it's pretty hit and miss. You just need a bit of luck. You need some good draws because quite a few of the jockeys haven't ridden around that tight circuit, so it's a little bit hard for them to adjust.
Do you think that the big names from abroad who may not have ridden at the Valley that often, are they at a disadvantage? They've ridden on sharp, tight tracks all over the world, they've ridden under floodlights, but is there something unique about Happy Valley?
Oh, there's no doubt. It's such a unique course, but like anything, you just need to have the right horse. I think if they've got the right horse under them, they can certainly get the job done.
Do you bog them down with instructions then, or is it?
Not really.
Your horse is quite straightforward.
Pretty straightforward, Obviously, if we've got one that's drawn wide, I just give them a little bit of knowledge about the horse and just say, listen, make your own luck, go forward, or just get back and let's hope they go hard and then chime in 3 wide and see what happens.
How about Frankie? Graham was just saying he's 48-19 Group 1 winners. The first time he won this was 1999. It's last century. It's 20 years ago.
Incredible.
He's still,
he's
as
still
good as ever.
On the top of his game. It's just unbelievable. What a career. I mean, the guy's a legend.
What do you think sets him apart? He's clearly got a great racing brain, but he seems to have that balance in the early part of a race where he can float across from a tricky draw and just find the right slot, making something very difficult look pretty routine.
You got it spot on. But that's what makes the top guys what they are. They're just that little bit better than the rest, aren't they? That's why they are doing incredible things, and he's been achieving it for over 30 years now.
What year did you start training in Hong Kong?
2002.
Right, so he was winning the IJC before you even started training.
Exactly,
so, he's going to be a headline act this week, but the jockey standard of jockeyship in Hong Kong generally and in this competition is going to be really high.
I think this is one of the best series we've ever seen. I mean, everyone's on top of their game. You've got guys that are just from all over the world fighting it out. It's going to be a great venue on Wednesday. I really hope people tune in and give it max.
You have a lot of Hong Kong owners, a lot of really colourful owners, and I know you sort of bring them along with that party atmosphere. It's clearly a really big week, full stop, for all the owners here.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's keen to get their horses racing this week. A lot of owners, it's a prestigious week. Hopefully, if you're at the top end and you've got horses competing in the big races, it's magic. But even on the supporting card, if you can get a few in and get a winner for them, they're very happy.
Talk about the big races then. Rise High and Southern Legends heading to the weekend, who've both had pretty good preparations coming into this. Rise High first, maybe. Going back to the Beauty Generation race first and knocking him off, that must have been something quite special.
Oh, absolutely. He's a special horse. He hasn't done it yet, but in my mind, as long as things stay good and he stays sound, we're going to see the best of him over the next 12 months, that's for sure.
Now, you're a sportsman. You appreciate the bigger picture, but you wouldn't be human when that news came through on Saturday morning that Almond Eye wouldn't make the trip if you didn't give a little fist pump and say, right, our chances of winning the $28 million Hong Kong Cup have just increased appreciably.
Yeah, spot on, absolutely. I mean, of course we'd love to see her racing, but at the end of the day, you're at your own doorstep here, and it certainly gives us our chance to win now, I mean, she's something special, but now...
You were out in Dubai, weren't you?
Yeah.
World Cup, so you saw her race there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She's a machine.
She's a machine. She's obviously, she's like Winx, like what Beauty Generation was last season, and hopefully he'll bounce back as well. He's a champion. Hopefully he'll get back and
Vincent will rides Rise High again. I mean, that's just been quite a journey itself that you've been very close to over the
I nurtured him. Vincent's been my apprentice, and to see him have all this success recently is well deserved. He's really worked hard for it. And for him, I'm very happy that the owners, came on board to give him his opportunity to ride this big race. And I'm sure he won't let us down. I just need a bit of luck on the day. I think we'll be there.
Talk about a gear shift. I just assumed Vincent had a few rides in HKIR races before. I spoke to him earlier on today and said, how many rides have you had in the big ones before? He said, none. And he goes from none to 4 this weekend, and a serious chance in the biggest race of all.
Yeah, he seems very measured, isn't he, Vincent?
He's very measured, spot on. He's very cool. He's taking his time in races now. He's a good kid. He spends his summers, working hard and going overseas and learning a bit more, riding in France and in the UK. And there's no doubt that's helped him.
Yeah. So you cut loose a little bit. I was with him last week and having a chat. And he's got a good sense of humour as well, but he keeps it.
Yeah, he doesn't drink, so he's a little bit timid, not like us, but he's a good lad, He gives it maximum when it comes to work, and I don't think there's any other jockey that works as hard as him off the track. He's very fitness fanatic.
Quickly on Rise High, I expected a bit more from him last time. He had a slightly tough trip. How did you assess that performance?
Totally right again. I mean, I sent him for a scope, and he scoped with a grade 2 blood. So for me, that was enough there to tell us that he's looked after himself. Since then, we've trialled him. He trialled really well on Friday, pulled up good, scoped beautiful. So if we can take that to the races now, we'll see the real horse.
Talk about Southern Legend. You would have had options with him. I mean, trip-wise, he's very versatile, and he turns up week after week, always delivers here. He's been Singapore, won there twice as well. Why the Vase?
Well, look, again, a very versatile horse. If you look at his form, you're probably thinking a mile's his best form, but he's had 2 runs at 2,000. He closed off strongly behind Exaltant in the Gold Cup, running second with a big sectional from back in the field. And then the other day he was held up on the corner and worked home strong again, running third. So I see there's no reason at all why we can't stretch him out an extra couple of furlongs. He's versatile, like you said, and he can relax, he can take a position, he can come from off them. So if there's no pace, I'll make my own luck on him. We'll put him forward. If there is something, we'll just let them do the donkey work and ride him to get the trip. He's tough. I think he'll run a race. Obviously, very competitive, but he's the type of horse that's got heart, and that takes you a long way in this game.
You are no stranger to winning big races on HKIR Day. Lucky 9 was a tremendous sprinter, a real flag bearer for Hong Kong here and abroad. That has to be one of the biggest days in your career.
No doubt. I mean, like anything, it's on your doorstep. So, certainly the December and then the April meetings are really big for us at the top end. And we always hope we can get some horses that can compete at that level, because that's where the money's at. And, that'll keep the stable flying for a while.
What's the feeling like being one of the home team? Because I know you've travelled, you've been to Singapore, you've been to Dubai, and you know what it's like as the visitor as such. And it's quite a buzz to be at those big meetings and be there out on the track in the morning and stuff.
Yeah.
With it being your show this time round, how does it feel just in the build-up to Sunday?
Yeah, it's a great vibe, but obviously being home, we want to do it for our Hong Kong fans and for our owners. There's nothing like giving them face, especially at this venue. If they can snag one of these races, they're happy for a while.
It's a fascinating term, and it informs a lot of Hong Kong life.
Yeah.
Just explain to people that the giving owners face, just putting them in that winner's arch just behind us, and in the winners. In terms of Hong Kong prestige, it doesn't get any higher, does it?
Absolutely. That's what they live for. That's what they're spending the big money for. Year in and year out, they're spending a lot of money. A lot of horses go by the wayside and don't perform to what they expect them to perform, especially on what they're showing overseas. They come into this environment, and some of them just struggle. Some go on with it. So, for clients to keep putting their hands in their pocket and buying the expensive, well-performed horses, we need to get them to come up here and do their job.
Speaking of where they come from, buying them, sourcing them, Rise High from Ireland.
Yeah.
He had good form coming here in the first place, and Southern Legend from Australia. So it's an operation in itself, isn't it? Just to find these horses from all these different points.
100%.
Getting the right ones too.
Yeah, we got to have our finger on the pulse and try to strike as soon as possible to get these types of horses. Lucky enough, in regards to Southern Legend, he was owned by my owner in Australia. He was a pretty good sprinter there. He was at 1,200. He had probably won five or six races at that short trip. But when he came here, we snuck a couple of sprints with him, and then we just started to stretch his trip, and he's been really good and really tough.
As regards Rise High, you were flagging that horse's potential up way before it was evident in the form book.
Yeah.
What were you seeing from that horse that made you think this guy's going to fly high in the next year or two?
Oh, you just hope that they can come and adapt. That's the key.
But was it morning work? Was it something about his demeanour that made you think?
Oh, you talk while he was here. Sorry,
Yeah.
While he was here, no doubt, he just gave off a special vibe, like his morning work, what he could do. He had gears. You just knew, oh, this thing's pretty special once he starts to know what it's all about. I've been saying it for a while when he was in Class 2. I think he's potentially a star, you know, and he's on 127 now. He still hasn't snuck that big race yet, but hopefully we'll get that next week.
Was he a bit of a handful though when he first arrived? 'Cause I remember it was his first race, maybe certainly an early race. I think Zach might have been riding actually. He got very keen at the back. He was throwing his head around, wouldn't settle, but still ran well.
Yeah.
But he seemed to settle, or you managed to settle him or get him to race more trackly quite quickly. Was he a bit of a hothead, or is he?
Yeah, they just wanted, you know, try and do the opposite of what
Yeah.
you wanted them to do, conserve their energy and then bring it out in the straight, you know. He took a chill pill pretty quick. Once we changed his equipment on him and got him in behind horses, he started to drop his head. And he's, as you can see, he can reel off a pretty good sectional, you know. So if you're running a mile or you're running 2,000, as long as they can give you that big sectional at the end of it, you're always a chance to snag a big one.
What are you looking forward to, other than your own races, in terms of the themes and the potential stars of Beauty Generation and Athero, two opposite ends of the age scale, but two incredibly important horses for Hong Kong?
100%. Athero, to do what he's doing at his age, it's remarkable.
You see one like him in terms
No,
of precocity?
it's just nuts. I mean, he's still raw. You know, I'm looking at him going, he's not the finished article. And he put them to sleep the other day. Obviously, he's getting a lot of weight off them, and he's going to be 5 pounds worse off on the Sunday.
Yeah. He's still getting weight, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still getting weight, and you know he's a big horse. Even though he's still got a bit of work to fill his frame in, but he's a star. There's no doubt about it. The next 2-3 seasons with him, he looks to be pretty magic. And the champion, obviously, he's felt something, or he's got some niggling problems there. He hasn't really done what he's capable of doing. And you know what? I'm sure a guy like John, great trainer, I'm sure he'll have him cherry ripe on the big day, and I'm sure he'll be back to going close to winning.
Yeah. What do you do with your horses, win, lose or draw on the weekend? How far ahead of this season are you looking? I know you went to Dubai last year. Have you got any international plans, maybe for these two or for other horses in the stable?
For these two, certainly we've got plans. I mean, obviously now with Australia finally lifting the quarantine ban, which is magic for us, that opens up a lot of good racing down there. So, you know, we'll be looking at their program, that's for sure. And then obviously we look at Dubai. Dubai looks good, you know, and then we come back here for April.
What's the Casper fans team party like after a big win on a day like Sunday or Wednesday night? I guess you're not
pretty
hanging
quiet,
back.
I'd imagine.
Well, if we win on Sunday, mate, you guys will be coming to party with me, so make sure you do.
We've got to be here Monday.
We'll finish sometime Monday anyway, that's
We've got
for
to be
sure.
here Monday morning again for a wrap-up, so we might be coming straight from the party.
Well, we'll be wearing the dark glasses, that's for sure.
Don't bank on me being here.
It's me and you. It's already,
We'll make you a young spunker again, buddy.
it's already written down. But yeah, it'd be a huge day, one or both would just be
Well,
amazing.
just to snag one, and just for them to run well is always what we're looking at, but to win would be magic.
Well, appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks, mate.
Enjoy Wednesday night. It's a party, isn't it? Regardless, the IGC.
Yeah, no matter what.
Well, in terms of sports arenas all over the world, there's not a sports arena anywhere like Happy Valley to be slap bang in the middle of a major global city, skyscrapers everywhere, floodlights on, huge crowd.
Yeah.
It is the ultimate racing party.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I think good luck on Sunday as well.
Cheers, boys.
Thanks,
care.
mate.
Great
Thanks,
stuff.
buddy.
Good luck.
Take care, bye.
Moonwalk off nearly. It is going to be a big week, Graham. We're here. Well, Brittany will be back with you tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll be back again on Friday. We're going over the weekend, and we'll do, as I said before, hopefully we'll be here for a wrap-up Monday morning, celebrations aside.
Yeah, it's terrific how the week builds in terms of atmosphere and vibe, physical number of people here, and the horses coming out on the track. We had the O'Brien trio out this morning, Anthony Van Dyke, Mount Everest, Magic Wand, a couple of those creeping in under the radar perhaps. The Japanese horses are always fascinating, and that later in the week they won't do a canter, they will do a serious hit out. It's quite a sight when they come rolling up the straight here, so can't wait to cover that angle. Wherever you look, there are great stories, human and equine this week.
All right, and we'll hopefully cover it all here on the morning show. As well, as I mentioned, Brittany Yerton, Ed Sadler and Adam Campton will be joining us throughout the rest of the week. Graham as well, and I'll be back later on, and hopefully we'll have some special guests for you as well, both the local and the international raiders also. But that has been the morning show for this morning. A special thanks to Casper fans. We'll see you again, same time tomorrow.